And welcome to Studio 5. Tim Tebow is here today for the Studio 5 sit-down. We're talking about his new film, and we have an exclusive look at this year's MovieGuide Awards coming to the Hallmark Channel. So let's fire up the countdown and begin this week's look at what's new in uplifting entertainment. At number 5, a few snapshots from the red carpet at this year's MovieGuide Awards, which will air Monday, February 25th. Among the honors at this year's celebration of uplifting entertainment,
Bart, you didn't write this song in 10 minutes. Took a lifetime. How'd you do this?
You know, I've never told anybody my story.
the big screen story behind the hit song, I Can Only Imagine. What's been the biggest surprise from the film, I Can Only Imagine?
I think the easy answer is the response we've gotten from audiences. You know, I think we all knew we had a special project, but that doesn't mean that everyone else is going to think it's special.
And you can catch this year's MovieGuide Awards on the Hallmark Channel. At number 4.
It's Valentine's Day.
Many celebrities were quick to share their Valentine's photos on social media, and a few were pretty grand.
Whatever you got for Valentine's Day, it probably wasn't Kenny G in your living room among a field of roses. That's what Kim Kardashian got from Kanye West, and she posted the video on Twitter calling it the most thoughtful gift ever.
And we'll get to number 3 in the countdown in just a little bit. Tim Tebow is a former NFL star, now a baseball player, and also a filmmaker. He's sitting down with us in Studio 5 to share it all, including some news on his love life. Tim Tebow has gone from Heisman Trophy winner with the Florida Gators to NFL quarterback to minor league baseball player, gearing up for yet another season.
You look at the last 10 years and all the twists and turns that my life has taken, and not a lot of them you could have possibly predicted, but I tell you what, I'm grateful for all of them, even the lows, because I love what I'm doing.
And doing it well, adding filmmaker to his credits with a movie that includes a mention of his beloved Florida Gators.
This is it.
We got the beat! Yeah. It's in our feet! Yeah. It's in our head! Yeah. It's everywhere!
Run the Race recently premiered in Hollywood, with Tebow strolling the red carpet with his new fiancée, Demi Lee Nell Peters, Miss Universe 2017.
And I couldn't be more proud of them.
For both of you now, how's the wedding planning going?
I guess that's a question for me.
Yeah,
right?
it's more of a question for her.
Well, no, it's going. I think right now we're just, enjoying this moment.
It's
and
a slow process, though. We've been really busy.
It's the Night to Shine and the movie. And
baseball's about to start, so it's been busy. Yes, very busy.
Yeah.
So we'll have to... When we get more time, then we can really work on that. Next steps.
One at
a time. Yes.
The couple made headlines following Tim's surprise and romantic proposal during the Christmas holidays. First off, congratulations on the engagement. How are you feeling?
Great. I love it. I'm happy.
Very, very
Very
nice.
grateful she said yes.
Yes, indeed. Hope the planning goes smoothly.
Thank you.
Now, getting back to Run the Race.
I've seen enough football to last me a lifetime. After watching you take that hit last year, your body all locked up the way it was, no thank you, no sir.
A story about the weight of the world and the love of a brother.
The world's not always easy. Society is not always the easiest on us. And so if we can encourage young people in their journey, on their race, then it would be worth it. And so that's really why we started this, was to be able to have them go see a movie and walk away knowing that hopefully being encouraged and inspired, but then also, knowing all the things that this movie tries to share is of, you're not always going to win. You're not always going to come in first. It's not going to be perfect, but you're loved in the process. You're special, and there's a purpose, and a reason for you, and you can pursue your passions. I think it's probably my favorite part about this movie. It's about relationship, because I believe life is about relationships. It's about community. It's about people. I think we were made for a relationship. Relationship with God, relationship with each other, and to be able to understand forgiveness and give it and get it, and understand love and be able to work through those hurdles on your journey. And I just think that relationship aspect is probably my favorite part of it.
You guys mind if I join you?
Yeah.
Long time no see, Pop.
Yeah, I lost my appetite.
Yeah. I'll come by. Now that you're not there, this one won't let me in.
Yeah, I figured. Why didn't you say anything? Don't see why I'd waste my breath on this guy.
I heard you're doing real well on the football field this season, Zachary.
Did you?
Yeah. In fact, rumor has it that you're going to shatter all my district records.
Yeah, no. I'm going to wipe your name off the record books. You can count on that.
This is really a roller coaster for these two young men on this story, coping with loss and tragedy.
Yes.
How do you cope with loss? People would probably say, well, you don't lose, but how do you cope with loss?
No, you definitely lose. It's, you know, I've lost, you know, a lot of things, whether it's been people I've been close to, whether it's been wish kids that I've loved and they've gone to heaven early, whether it's been not necessarily all your dreams going the way you want. But in the midst of it, what do we have to hold on to? Who do we have to hold on to? And when everything around us feels like it's shaken, you know, who are we and whose are we? And I think that's what's important and that's what's special. And everybody's on their own journey and their own race. But there are some similarities and some ties and things we all go to, and that's fear and it's doubt and it's the unknown and it's are we good enough and it's are we loved and all these same questions that we all ask, and I think that's what Run the Race really touches on.
This story has been 12 years in the making for Mr. McIntyre.
Yes.
What do you think that says about this project? 12
oh my gosh,
years.
I think we're getting close to 13 now. You know, I think it's something that has been on his heart, and it's part of his DNA. And for us, it's been about 7 years now since we first read the script. And we didn't know what we were doing. I've never been in this industry, or, you know, where the heck do you start? You know, we just knew it was a really good story, and we wanted people to hear it and see it. And so we just kind of started taking the next steps, and some by faith and some not knowing what we're doing and asking for help, and just one step, and we're grateful to end up here.
Hopefully you'll do it again.
Yes, sir.
Tim's film, Run the Race, is in American theaters February 22nd. We'll have more on that coming up in just a little bit. Still ahead.
We're family.
You think that's supposed to mean something?
That doesn't mean everything.
It means nothing. We're family. You're some dude that left us after our mom died.
Meet the young stars of Run the Race.
They really know they can fully trust the other one, and that's, I think, what the... Is this Frances Fisher?
Who is this beautiful woman?
Oh, lucky us.
Your auntie.
And their on-screen godmother. And welcome back to Studio 5. The countdown of the best headlines in uplifting entertainment news continues now. At number 3, it's Disney Preview ×2.
Welcome to the Medici Family Circus, where anything is possible and miracles happen.
The new Dumbo live-action film hits theaters in March, but Studio 5 has this special preview of the film, brought to life by the imagination of legendary director Tim Burton.
And now, introducing our world-famous flying elephant. What do you think of that?
And then
we're getting our first look at Frozen 2. No dialogue or songs in the first teaser trailer, but we see Elsa using her powers trying to freeze the ocean. The sneak peek quickly became the #1 trending video on YouTube. Frozen 2, it's theaters November 22nd.
At number 2.
Without commitment, you'll never start. But more importantly, without consistency, you'll never finish.
Nominations for the NAACP's 50th Annual Image Awards are in, and the film Black Panther leads the pack with 17 nominations. Corinne Hawthorne is up for Outstanding Gospel Album. Kirk Franklin is also up for the honor for his work on Tori Kelly's Hiding Place project.
It's not a hole too deep, because love is not deeper still.
The awards are handed out March 30th in Los Angeles. And that leaves us with only one more headline in this week's countdown. We're going to bring you that in just a moment. But first, let's take a look at the box office. As promised, here's your Studio 5 first look at Run the Race.
Dave and Zach Truitt are two brothers with one unbreakable bond in the face of unbearable tragedies.
You're on somebody's radar, son.
It's not a big deal. It's just a letter saying that there's interest.
Shut up.
Yeah, it's a big deal, dude. I'm gonna get that scholarship. I'm gonna get us out of here. I don't want to end up like Dad.
Hey, you guys mind if I join you?
Yeah, that's my appetite.
We're family.
We're family. You're a drunk who left us after our mom died.
It's a story of finding hope and strength playing out in Run the Race. The first film project for executive producers and brothers, Robbie and Tim Tebow.
I think it has to do with the story. My goal was honestly never to get into the movie industry, and it's still not really.
Really? Wow.
It was more about being able to tell the story. When we read the script, it impacted me, and I was crying, and I showed it to my family, and they were crying.
Track season's around the corner. They give scholarships for track.
I can do this. I've got nothing to lose and a scholarship to gain. And you're gonna come with me wherever I go.
We see the Truitt brothers in this, and I know that you're working with your brother to get this film out to the masses. How would you compare the Truitt brothers to the Tebow brothers?
I think there's a lot of similarities to a certain extent because, you know, we were very close. We would push each other. We would compete all the time. Robbie helped make me better in sports and in life. Just having each other's back and that relationship. And I think it's probably my favorite part about this movie. It's about relationship because I believe life is about relationships.
I'm Zach. I'm the running back at Bessemer.
I don't date football players.
Tanner Stein plays Zach Truitt.
Cover for me. It's getting old.
And Evan Hoffer plays his younger brother, Dave.
What do you two think of these brothers' relationship in this story? I mean, I was really in love with the bond that they share.
I think it's the constant throughout the film. You know, it's a film about faith and all these different things, but it's mainly about the faith that the brothers have in each other.
I always wanted an older brother, and so this movie really gave, like, Run the Race really gave me an opportunity to have that. Like, we became best buddies while we were there. We really became brothers through the process, and
made it that much easier on set.
Seriously.
Yeah.
For both of you, how are you most like your characters?
That's a good question. That is a good question. I can answer it for you.
And I can answer for yours.
You want to answer?
Yeah, you go first. You go first.
So Dave is like the epitome of just goodness and kindness, and I feel like that's who Evan is, like deep down. I don't mean to embarrass you, but it's true, and you know it.
Well, for the comparison for Zach and Tanner, I think that they're both just, like, I always say my favorite thing about Tanner is that he is always 100% himself, and you're never going to get any watered-down version of that. You're always going to get Tanner, and I think that's the same with Zach, is he's very him. It doesn't matter who he's with, where he is, he's him, and people love him for it.
I don't need your help with my kids.
Your boys don't need a coach. They need a dad.
Christopher Pahala plays the boy's struggling father.
I know life can be confusing. It's full of ups and downs. God does love you.
And Frances Fisher is a much-needed godmother.
For both of you, what attracted you to the project? What was it about the story?
For me, it was Chris Dowling, the director. I'd just worked on a movie called Where Hope Grows with him. And, of course, the Tebows being involved. We have a dog at home named Tebow.
It was so meant to be. This is before. And his son is crazy about Tim Tebow.
Oh, wow.
And he has posters all over his room. This is before you got the job, so it was so much the hand of God. And you better be there.
Your character, a bit of a hero for these boys. What did you think of her?
I love this character, and I love playing her because she's a good person, good-hearted person.
And this story has been on the Tebows' hearts for the last 7 years.
The goal for me has always been to try to bring faith, hope, and love to encourage people. And, you know, the world's not always easy. Society is not always the easiest on us. And so if we can encourage young people in their journey, on their race, then it would be worth it.
It is a great film. And again, Run the Race is in American theaters February 22nd.
And still to come, we're hitting the red carpet.
What makes you come out to an event like the MovieGuide Awards? What does it pull you here?
Well, I just so appreciate what these guys are doing. You know, the movies that they're making, the high purpose of the movies.
For this year's MovieGuide Awards.
Welcome back to Studio 5. The countdown of the best headlines in uplifting entertainment continues now. We have made it to number 1. At number 1.
How does it feel?
Feels amazing.
And Justin's on the cover with you.
Yes, he is.
That's Haley Baldwin, who's on the cover of the March issue of Vogue magazine with her husband, Justin Bieber.
What was the first thing you thought of when your alarm went off this morning?
My Vogue cover shoot.
For the first time, the newlyweds are going on the record about their marriage and their struggles. And for those who follow the couple, don't forget this Studio 5 advice from Haley's dad.
Please pray. As you can imagine, my family, particularly Haley and Justin, choose to publicly profess Christ. So that means there's a whole lot of forces that will be against them, and that's real. You know, so I just hope people understand, you know, like people see folks and they go, oh, they don't need any help. They're just like you and me. So if we have a hope for them to be a blessing to the kingdom, well, then we gotta pray.
And that'll do it for this week's countdown. Earlier we showed you Run the Race. It is an inspiring film, and it's films like that which MovieGuide seeks to honor each year with its annual MovieGuide Awards. Studio 5 traveled to Los Angeles for an exclusive preview of this year's show.
It's a star-studded evening here in Hollywood, and Studio 5 is on the red carpet with the stars attending the 27th annual MovieGuide Awards. Like legendary actor Jon Voight.
What makes you come out to an event like the MovieGuide Awards? What is it pulls you here?
Well, I just so appreciate what these guys are doing. You know, the movies that they're making, the high purpose of the movies.
It's easy to snap a few shots of some very familiar faces at this annual celebration of uplifting entertainment. Madeline Carroll, who starred in the film I Can Only Imagine, is here to present an award.
How do you feel about the success of I Can Only Imagine?
It's unbelievable. It's like you can't even really put it into words because it literally just was God. He just had his way and it just went and went and went, and I did not expect it to do as well as it did. I thought it was special, obviously, to me, you know, and my personal journey with the movie. But did I think that it was going to resonate as much as it did with people? I didn't, honestly. I didn't think so. I mean, I thought it would do well, but not the way that how well it did. It's just been a blessing.
Also a blessing.
I take these broken wings and learn to fly.
Voice contestant Spencer Baker is here to perform on the MovieGuide Awards stage.
I feel like I've been listening to your voice for a long time, since you were a kid.
14 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's been a long journey for sure. I took the evolution from gospel music into country music, but never shifted the faith aspect of my life. So I'm very excited to be a part of an event like this where that is celebrated.
Absolutely. So country music.
Yeah.
What is it about country music?
Well, I'm a young African-American female in country music.
Yes.
It's not very common.
No.
So I am just setting myself up here. But it's kind of an uncharted territory, and I'm very excited about it. And for me, it was a natural progression from gospel. Gospel music is all about your testimony and your story, and so is country music. It's about telling the story. Absolutely. And I feel like I'm able to combine both worlds now, and it's really nice.
And speaking of storytelling, up for the night's highest honor, the Epiphany Prize, are Unbroken, Path to Redemption, The Grinch, and Paul, the Apostle of Christ.
And before the MovieGuide Awards goes on the Hallmark Channel, you may want to watch these movies and pick out your winner and maybe pray that it will win at the MovieGuide Awards.
This year, Studio 5 is also exclusively backstage for the annual MovieGuide Awards, where we find actress Cheryl Ladd, perhaps best known for her role in the hit ABC series Charlie's Angels.
What brings you to the MovieGuide Awards tonight?
Well, I got the opportunity to do a really fun episode of Malibu Dan. I play David A.R. White's mother, and I love the character. The writing was really good, really fun, and really interesting, and a little off the wall, which I liked. And she is a little bit of a tough cookie, but she's got a heart of gold, and she loves her family.
Do you look and seek out roles like that?
I do.
Why?
Well, I must say that I am enjoying my craft far more now. that I'm sort of not that leading lady. They're you know, and I've lived a pretty full life, and I have a lot to bring, and I am a mother and a grandmother, and you know, there are a lot of elements of me now that didn't exist when I was 25 years old.
You can catch the Movie Guide Awards this year on the Hallmark Channel on February 25th.
Up next. He recorded his last album inside a prison.
I just remember coming home and honestly never looking back.
We're sitting down with Grammy winner Zach Williams for a lesson from the road.
And welcome back to Studio 5. We are almost out of time for this episode, so here's a look at what we're working to bring you next week.
Hey, buddy.
It's me. I know. Mario Van Peebles has enjoyed a long and impressive career in the entertainment world, following in the footsteps of his legendary father and passing it on to his children.
Richard is here to help us, brother.
He's sharing his latest role and some new wisdom with Studio 5.
Certainly hope you'll join us for that and so much more next week. But before we say goodbye, we've got a final word for you. It's coming from singer Zach Williams.
I can remember my prayer being something like, I don't care if I play guitar or sing anymore, I just want to be a good dad, a good father. And you know, that was kind of it. And I probably spent 6 months of not touching a guitar or singing, and then God just kind of started bringing these things back into my life. And before I knew it, I was offered a position at this church to launch a campus and become a worship director and connections kind of pastor. And you know, I didn't feel qualified to do any of that because I was like, I'm not going to school to be this. But the pastor at the church, man, they really took a leap of faith, and they saw something, you know, in me and my wife, and were like, we feel like you're qualified with your story. And so that's the thing, you know, and I've tried to tell people, you know, I tried to make all of these things happen for years of my life, you know. I tried to make this stuff happen. I was in a band. We wanted a record deal. We wanted to be famous rock stars, and it didn't happen. I don't think it was because of, you know, the guys I was playing music with weren't talented enough. I think God knew that I didn't need that. You know, I needed to do something different. Or he had a plan for my life, and that plan was for me to go through what I've gone through, and then He's given me this platform now to just share that it only happens with God.
Zach Williams, that is a great final word for this edition of Studio 5 and this week's look at uplifting entertainment. Until next time, make time to uplift someone else and then come on back and see where Studio 5 takes you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.